come out shooting.
Manny, it's a 3-game win streak, ties the longest for the season so far. Can you say anything in particular that's gone right these last 3 games compared to earlier in the season?
I think we had a few things going right in these 3 games. Obviously, our starters have been pitching well for a while now, our younger kids. I think we played terrific defense on those first 2 games in Yankee Stadium that we won. And then this one yesterday, we were able to, despite not playing good defense, we finally were able to come up with a big hit in extra innings and snap that 0 for 8, that we had on extra innings. But those kids have been very consistent for the last month or so, and hopefully we can click with the rest of our game.
And you've in the past had a pretty quick hook with your starting pitchers, I think just comparable to other, when you look at other managers and pitch counts and whatnot. I think, looking back to 2007, the bullpen was great. The starters were a weak spot. It seemed to make a lot of sense. This year there's more questions being asked about it with the bullpen problems. Can you just talk a little bit about your, what goes into that, what goes into your thinking behind when you pull a pitcher?
Yeah, well, the philosophy changes depending on what you have in hands. I think everybody knows that in 2007 we set a record for pitching changes. Obviously, we went to spring training and brought in 12 guys to compete for 4 spots. So we didn't have the strongest rotation, and we had also our bullpen. The back end of it was covered, but the middle guys were still, a lot of guys that were in either AAA guys or guys that, were kind of projects for us. So we had to do what we had to do back then. What we do is now that we have the young kids, and even we did it, started in 2007, guys are our first year in the big leagues, younger guys. We try to give them an opportunity to come out of the game on a positive note. I mean, it is not so much about pitch counts. I don't go about pitch counts so much. You don't let a guy out there because he has to throw 100 pitches, so people say, well, he went 100 pitches, and you let him give up 8, 12 runs. What I try to do is win the ball game and take in consideration if a kid is really young, give him an opportunity to come out of the game where he can only either tie or win the ball game. The younger guys that we have now in the rotation, we have to be very careful with the pitch count too. If you guys pay attention to Zimmerman's start over there in Tampa, he came out of the game with like 91, 92 pitches. Well, we had just skipped him 1 time because he had some fatigue on his elbow. So obviously you can't send him out there and throw 120 pitches just because I wanted to have 17 wins, and we have to take care of these kids. My main thing is trying to win the ball game, and pitch count, it doesn't go on my mind at all. Stanman, he didn't have that many pitches the other day in Yankee Stadium, but I mean the kid pitched good enough that I think he deserved to get out of the game with only a shot to winning the game, and not stay out there a couple of more hitters and then give up a long ball in that small ballpark and come with his confidence shot. I can leave a guy out there for 120 pitches if he's pitching good enough, and I think he's going to win me the ball game. So pitch count, to me, it's just it's something that it's out there. I just want to win the ball game, and if you're pitching well and you have to go 120, you'll go out there. If I think guys have seen you 3, 4 times and they are making adjustments on you and you're starting to elevate the ball, and I have a guy fresh out of the bullpen who the hitter hasn't seen and has a chance to preserve the victory for us, we'll do it. And in the past, I think what helped us to go quicker to our bullpen was the fact that we had Saul, Rauch, and Cordero. They were pretty good. They used to cover us for about 3 innings. So that's why in the past we were a little bit quicker to go to the pen.
What are you going to do with Olson when he comes back?
We're going to be inserting him into the rotation. He's going to go 1 more outing in AAA because he did throw 80-something pitches yesterday, but our AAA coaching staff felt that he's still not ready to come up here and compete. He needs 1 more start because he scattered the strike zone a little bit. But he's going to come in. It's going to be a tough and maybe unpopular decision because one of those kids is probably going to have to go down to Syracuse. But that's the way the game works, and these guys are just going to go to AAA, get some experience, and come back up here. I think all of you guys know that at some point there are a few of these kids that are going to be shut down, or not completely shut down, but at least have some type of control on their amount of innings they're throwing. We did that to John Lannon, I don't know if you guys remember, 2 years ago, and we're going to continue to do it because these guys are just, they're too important, and they're going to be part of the long-term future here, and we have to protect them.
And since you've been here, you've never really had a real center fielder that you can consistently depend on. What do you think, in the short term, is there any solution for this, or is there anyone in the long term?
Long term, yes, we do have Bernardino and Maxwell. There are two right now bona fide center fielders, and those are the type of things that people sometimes don't understand. It's not that anybody in here didn't know from the beginning that the Lastins or the Elijah Dukes are not natural center fielders, but those were the guys that we have here, and they're young enough, and we felt that they could make progress and play center field for us. That's until a guy like Maxwell takes off, or a guy like Bernardino. Those are the legit center fielder. That's what you do, you know, when you're rebuilding and you have to go through some of those growing pains. I mean, unless you go out, we went out there 2 years ago and brought in a legit center fielder. This is what we had to do. We felt that it was better to let Bernardino and Maxwell develop in the minor leagues than have them up here just for the sake that they can catch every fly ball, while we could, you know, survive with Village and Dukes.
Speaking of Bernardino, how is he doing?
He's already walking without that those crutches, and he looks good. We're just still gonna have to wait until he has to put pressure on that ankle, because you know all your weight goes on it. So we're gonna be very cautious with him and see how he can bounce back, because he's a guy who relies a lot on his speed, and that's something that we're gonna have to see if he's gonna be able to recuperate 100%.
We saw Josh Willingham was reinstated today. What's the plan for him in terms of getting him back in?
Yeah, the plan for him is it's at least give him 1 or 2 days of baseball activities here until he's ready to play. You know, we have to be clear on this. I mean, Josh was not over there doing baseball stuff. I mean, it was a pretty serious stuff, and it's very tough. This is the big leagues, and I know that a lot of people like to use this is like riding a bike. It is not. I mean, you just can't be away from the baseball field for 6 days and then come in and step in, face major league pitching, and be at your best. So we'll take a look at him today. We're gonna talk to him and have him take some swings, do some stuff, and if he feels good enough, maybe give him a pinch hit appearance so he can see some pitches today and tomorrow, and go from there.